I'm Peet van der Merwe from Northwest University. Can you hear me? There we go. And this study is a potential frogging as a ecotourism product for national parks. This is work of one of my master's students, and I'm not going to jump around like a frog or make any sounds like a frog, but I tried to explain to you what our research found regarding how people feel about this activity in national parks. The layout of the talk is as follows. First, we're going to look at the introduction. Then I'm going to have a literature background, looking at the method, the results, and then the discussion, and then we're going to have a conclusions. And I hope you enjoy my pictures of the frogs. I really struggled to get those. Normally I've got a lot of photos, but I don't have photos of frogs myself. So I think this was quite unique to find these two little frogs going on a trip. If we look at the introduction, and as some of the other presenters also indicated here, is that one of the main reasons for people to travel is to go to natural areas. And we've seen that, as Leandro also indicated now, people going to national parks for the open spaces. And then national parks do contribute a lot to our natural area tourism product in South Africa. But as other tourism products, we always need to look at new products or redevelop our plans and what we have. And this, when we came up with this one, looking at the frogging as a niche tourism market, maybe similar to that of birding, and therefore the aim of a study, as I indicated at the beginning. If we look at the literature, where does this fit in? If you look at natural area tourism, there's 4 pillars thereof: ecotourism, wildlife tourism, geotourism, and adventure tourism. And if you look at the potentials of the qualities of frogging tourism, it mostly fell under the ecotourism pillar of nat tourism, because there's an educational component, there's a conservation component, we can put through small groups, and also involvement of communities. If one look at the Endangered Wildlife Trust statistics, we can see that there's about 155 frog species, of which 30% are endangered. And unfortunately, the conservation of frogs does not receive the same attention as our iconic species like leopard and those. And I don't think maybe it's due to the myth, because when I was a child and you touch a frog, your parents were saying, you're going to get the warts. So I don't know why people may be afraid of frogs. But yes, it's not one of those famous activities. When we did the desktop study, we came only upon, I think, 3 or 4 organizations that do frogging trips. And most of them were in KwaZulu-Natal, and none of them were in SANParks. And you do have a lot of potential here in this activity. What method? We did the ethical clearance, online research, quantitative research online, non-probability sampling. You can go through those. I'm not going to bore you with that. We also did the factor analysis. And when we look at the factor analysis, you will see that also that our KMOs were between 9.2 and 0.7, which is good for the factor analysis. Here is the socio-demographic results. First, you can see the age. This is pretty much similar to previous work that we've done. We've worked with SANParks for a couple of years now. But you more or less know that the average age of people visiting SANParks, in this case, more or less the same. 43 years age. Language, English and Afrikaans, more or less similar there. If one look at the marital status, this was quite new to me. 51% were married, and 31% said that they're single. If we look at previous work we've done, we've seen that the married category were quite higher. So this came out as new. Again, Gauteng is the main market, Western Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. So we all know that our big tourism market lies in Gauteng. Level of education, again, similar to previous research we've done. People at the diploma, 42%, postgraduate qualifications, 32%. So we know that people are quite well educated visiting national parks. Employment status, you will see there that salary employed and also self-employed. And then the income level here is, if you look at the last one, above 552,000, or about 32% indicated that they falls into that category. We asked 10 questions regarding frogging tourism. 5-point Likert scale we used, not at all, and then at 5, a great deal. If you look at the first question, are you aware of frogs are one of the most threatened groups of species? And here we can clearly see that people to the positive side, agree with it. And if you look to the next question, do you find frogs interesting? Again, positive for frogging tourism, 48% agree, a great deal, and 26% say quite a bit. If one look at, have you ever been educated about frogs? Let's move to the lower side, 24% a little bit, and then 31% somewhat. Question number 4, do you have a broad knowledge about frogs in South Africa? And this moved to the lower side, not at all, and a little bit. Question number 5, do you think tourism, especially nature-based or ecotourism, can help with the conservation of frogs? This was good for us because now we know that this can be a possible activity, and here 54% indicated a great deal and 30% say quite a bit. Question number 6, would you like to become more educated regarding frogs? Again, positive, 44% a great deal and 30% indicated quite a bit. This question number 7, have you ever taken part in any frog-related activities? And this shows that when we look at our desktop study, that not much of these frogging activities are provided, which correlates with that. Not at all, 42%, and a little bit, 19%. Question number 8, would you be interested in taking part of frogging-related activities? Again, to the positive side, 37% say a great deal, and 30% say quite a bit. And question number 9, if you have children or younger siblings, would you like to play or expose them to frog-related activities? 48% again indicated to do a great deal. And then question number 10, do you think frogging activities should be offered at nature reserves and national parks with a high score of 59 and 26%? So this quite clearly indicates that this is a possible activity for activities in national parks regarding frogging. Then we did the travel motive analysis, 22 constructs that we used, and from those 22 constructs we got 5 factors. The first one, social aspects, which normally part of national parks, or when people travel, legislation also came out. And if you look at travel motives for people in tourism industry, this is always about the number one. And the one that came out strongly here was conservation, which was second highest. If you look at the third bullet, when we look at the mean value here. So the 2 strong travel motives here was relaxation and conservation. Although the last 3 were new to us, biodiversity, conservation, and new experiences. That came out when we did that factor analysis, indicating why people want to do it or travel. Activity-wise, 5 activities we looked at. Night walks, to look at frogs. If you look at the 5-point Likert scale for 4.17, and on that Likert scale, night drives, look at frogs, was the second highest. Frogging identification courses, again also quite high. Day walks, to look at frogs, 3.9, and to photograph frogs. So these are all activities that one possibly can include in such an activity when you do frogging tourism. Other things that came out that people indicated is to re-establish frogs in nature, and also to combine frogging trips with other nocturnal animal expeditions. Now if we look at discussions here, this was the first time that we tested this in national parks, and as you see from the results, it's clear that this can be an activity, and I spoke earlier to Leandi as well, and as far as my knowledge is, that it's not yet, some of the activities has been introduced, and I think that the garden route, especially this area, has quite a lot of potential for providing frogging tourism activities for people. Second finding, frogging tourism can also be used to generate extra income. We know, and we've heard earlier this morning, that tourism plays a big role in income for managing SANParks to generate income, and this can be also an activity that can generate extra income for national parks. The third finding here, the new motives identified, as I indicated, conservation and biodiversity, again bringing back to the educational part of this, falling under ecotourism and the biodiversity, which we want to educate people about. The last one, activities for frogging, as I indicated, night walks, drives, frog identification, are some of the activities that came out strongly here that people can attend to. So in conclusion, the main contribution is this. Research is that we did conclude that there's a potential for frogging tourism in South African national parks, and this is also the first time that we did this research. Thank you.